Welcome to Bump in the Night podcast. Join us on this gracious day where we discuss films that deal with cults.
I was wondering if you're gonna keep going. I was kind of hoping to go like, as we raise our glasses and drink from the holy sanctum, or something like that.
Holy sanctum, that just sounds so weird.
That does sound kind of weird.
It's a cult. It doesn't have to sound right.
From your holy sanctum.
Well, in honor of...
So raise your glasses.
Yeah, raise your glasses. And gulps. We should be the cult of the gulps.
Yeah, for real. Since we're always drinking on the show.
Who's not drinking today? I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid today.
Yeah.
But we're doing this special episode because it kind of ties into everything. We just reviewed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That kind of shows a little bit of the Manson and Sharon Tate, and also the end of this week marks the anniversary of her death, which is horrible. So we're kind of thinking about, cults and how fascinating they are, and movies that incorporate cults.
Yeah, it's funny because we actually did a cult movie earlier this year, Midsummer.
Yeah.
We highly suggest you go check out that episode because that was pretty fun.
That was fun. That's a great movie. That's actually probably I didn't do that one on my list today because we already talked about it, but that is like one of my favorite cult movies, I would say.
I think that's one of my favorite movies of the year so far.
Same here.
Right next to Hollywood. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the whole Once Upon a Time in Hollywood movie coming out, it just got us thinking, how are cults like viewed in movies?
Yeah, how they portrayed. Are people really drinking that Kool-Aid, or...
It's a lot fascinating with the documentaries about Jonestown on Netflix, and there's other ones too. It's funny because a lot of the cult movies deal with the supernatural rather than just, being grounded and just showing you for what it really is, and just a man or a person exploiting their followers.
Yeah. Did you see, I think I told you to watch Holy Hell. Did you get to watch that? Oh, you guys gotta watch it. It's on Netflix, or was on Netflix. I don't know if it is anymore. That's a really good documentary. Highly recommend that. And then Wild Wild Country. Did you get to check that one out? It's about the Rajneesh people that were in Oregon. And it's really long. It's like a series, but it's really fascinating. So that there's a bunch of documentaries out there that aren't paranormal about
There's
cults, but it's
the Waco documentary that's out there too. And so a lot of the documentaries actually deal and they talk about their leaders and say like, these guys are pieces of shit.
They're perverts just wanting power. That's basically what it is.
And it's just they're on a power trip.
Oh yeah.
So, but the movie, I don't know about the movies you got, but the movies I got are they dabble in the supernatural more than anything.
Mine
and it's
do
funny
too.
because a lot of the 70s and 80s movies that deal with the occult, they came from a place where it was the satanic panic. And a lot of people were up in arms about that. It's like, oh man, you listen to Kiss? You listen to Iron Maiden?
Ozzy?
Yeah. You're the devil.
And then parents would have this control. They didn't want their kids listening to this type of music, you know? And also the end of 69, hippies, bunch of people in the 60s, 70s got into mysticism and tarot and esoteric kind of stuff. So I think parents just got a little more freaked out by that stuff too.
People living in communes now have that stigmatism though.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, you guys are a cult.
Yeah, exactly.
But you don't know that. They could just be a community of people that just want to live the way they want to live.
Yeah.
But, just because they're a commune and they're a group of people, that doesn't mean they're a cult, per se.
Would you ever live in a commune or a cult?
No, fuck no.
Would you want to be a leader of a cult?
No.
Really?
So interesting.
I have a hard time leading you two.
Hey, no one needs me.
Yeah, I was going to say, what? So I have, and I can't remember offhand, I was looking at going more in depth in my astrological chart, but I have a few configurations that are this cult leader.
Really?
I have that in common with cult leaders.
Watch out for this one. It's weird because they said a lot of like Aquarians are into cults.
My rising sign.
And Taurus. Like Jim Jones was a Taurus. What was David Koresh? Was he? I don't know what he was, but yeah, there's like a lot of weird, like a lot of signs, like some of the serial killer things. Like a lot of serial killers are Virgos, Scorpios, and Sagittarius,
Scorpios,
and Gemini.
Virgos, I think, are more.
But Manson.
Yeah, Manson.
Even though he was the brainwasher. But
well, yeah, he actually didn't kill anybody.
He just was the brainwasher.
He was the ringleader.
Yeah. So it's really interesting to think. I don't know. Like I always thought about leading a cult, like especially if it was like, if it's like the end of the world, like what are you gonna do? You know, like you
definitely
gotta
exploit that.
You gotta handle like people. You have to have a leader. But I think like women are different, and men. A lot of it, it just leads to sex for men in power that are in control of the cult.
That way for me.
Just whoa. Watch out,
Scorpio.
But it's true.
Oh, no, that's my only reason. I would have a harem.
Just have sex with everybody.
Just have sex with everyone.
I would just want people to like clean for me, do the dishes, water my plants.
Everybody gets an honorary vacuum once they join your cult.
Vacuum, take care of the pets, cook, like do all that stuff, and I'll just be on like a nice chair, like drinking margaritas, having someone fan me.
So, what kind of cult leader would you be? What would your focus be? You think
bossing people around?
Yeah, really.
Probably, yeah. Be on a power trip.
You would be like.
Would it relate to
angry.
like a weird sex thing though?
No,
So what would you? He kind of had to think about that a little bit.
Because it's when you think about it, like the sex thing is it's dirty. It doesn't seem right. It's just I don't know. It's like that's not. I don't want to get too personal about it. It's not something that gets me off. You know what I mean? Something like that. But I think what would be for me would be control. And just being able to tell people what to do. And
I like that already.
Look at it.
I know.
See his eyes light up.
Gleam in his eyes.
Like I want to. Like you're gonna do it the way I fucking told you to do it, motherfucker.
So what would you like?
Scoop that shit up, but use your right hand.
What would you boss people around to do? Just like chores and stuff? Like take care of stuff?
Take care of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't give a fuck what they do. Just like, take care of the fucking
then
spot.
What would the cult be about?
It'd be nothing. It'd be like free living.
Like a hippie.
Nothing's free.
Hippie commune.
Yeah, it'd be
ass, gas,
I'd be a
grass.
hippie, so that's what I'd be. But I don't know. I don't think I'd have the personality, nor do I have that instinct.
The thing about you is you're a lone. Well, I don't
a lone
know,
wolf.
like a loner.
I'm a loner, and
kind
so
of a loner,
I don't.
And you even want to go to the movies by yourself all the time.
Yeah,
like
so
I'm a
just,
loner, Daddy.
just thinking
rebel.
about having like a bunch of fucking people on my property just pisses me off
yeah,
already.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like you would get annoyed like super quick. Like you wouldn't be a people group pleaser.
Yeah.
No,
your speeches would be like, get the fuck out. All right.
I'd be pissing everybody off, and they try to impeach me and get me thrown out of my own community. Like, what the fuck? Just because I piss people off.
Yeah.
But no, to me, it wouldn't be anything like that. It'd just be something. It wouldn't be nothing based in religion or anything world-ending. It'd just be life. Just the way of living.
It's crazy though, because if you look at a lot of the cults in the 70s, a lot of them had like good ideas, like vegetarianism, like healthy living, not polluting the earth. Like they all had these great ideals, but then it would just end up in like the sex weird thing.
Because then they realize like, I can control these people.
Yeah.
Well, and also you have
the light bulb goes off.
Like a group of people constantly around each other, constantly doing everything.
Everything.
I mean, part of it, the commune idea is you're doing everything together. And then add the elements of, like perhaps, not that there's anything wrong with being nude and that necessarily influences, but like kind of the hippie idea,
free love,
free love, and nudity is okay, like our bodies ourselves, and, like, so
love yourself, love your neighbor.
All of that put together maybe creates creates, and then there's communes that are fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
that actually function as a community.
And they function as a community, and so I just think it takes. I think it's about control.
Yeah, absolutely.
I honestly think it's.
I think that's all it really is. I think that's all it is.
I think it's about control. It's not about
anything else.
Satisfying my sexuality, or I think that people that want control in a perverted way are the people more likely to.
It's like people get into position of power over other people, and they're like, wait, I want to see how far I can push this. Like, in the perfect example of this, and this is not a cult or anything like this, but this is the Stanford experiment.
Oh yeah, and I can't believe that happened.
And that right there is the perfect example, is when you put certain personalities in power and you see
them change,
how they take over that. And it's funny too, because at the end of the movie, there's an interview, and the guy, one of the notorious ones, and they called him Shades. He's sitting down with a reporter, and the reporter's all, "Why did you do this?" And he's all, "I knew it was fake, but I just wanted to see how come no one questioned me."
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, no one questioned me.
Yeah.
Like, no one at all thought to question my authority. And to me, that was just like, fuck. But at the same time, like, watching his portrayal is like, well, I mean, if someone did question you, like, you probably would have fucked him up.
Like, beat him up or something.
with the Billy Club. So,
another good
is a catch-22,
that explored that is Lord of the Flies.
Oh, yeah. Which they're remaking.
Again?
But it's going to be women. It's going to be girls. I don't know how that's going to go.
Huh.
The original is great, though. I fucking love Lord of the Flies.
I read the book a long time ago.
But it's really interesting because a lot of these people that are in cults, they're kind of, I don't want to say lost souls, but they come from like not being wanted. They kind of come from a bad family, or they're a runaway, or they're very insecure.
Forgotten children is what some would call them.
And a lot of them were women. I mean, look at the Manson family. A lot of those were girls that like didn't feel loved, and then he made them feel like, you're beautiful, love yourself. And it's that brainwashing.
Well, that's how a cult leader works. Is he preys on
the weak,
certain personality types, and draws them in,
and they get comfortable, and they feel accepted.
Because whether we all want to admit it or not, we want someone to accept us, and they just prey on a personality type, or people who are abused in some way or missing something, and that's how they create their community.
It's very, I don't know, it fascinates me, this topic. Like, I really think about this a lot, actually.
What, joining a cult or being in a cult?
No.
Being
just
a cult leader?
Just like the concept of a cult. I find it really interesting.
So what defines a cult, though? So you brought up Lord of the Flies. Does that constitute as a cult?
No. I don't think so.
No, I think that's just power.
Just explored the idea of how, they were a bunch of kids. They had no adults. Like parents, no adults. And how influenced some of them were to just do they just did the wrong, made choices about power and control.
The thing about that is, like, there is some cult elements into there, because one of them becomes in power somehow, and then everyone else falls in line.
Yeah,
while they have there's like a couple other kids who are like, no, dude, like, this is not what it's supposed to be. We need to figure out a way to get out of here.
Yeah.
While the others want to stay there. And they want to stay there not because they think it's a good idea. They want to stay there because their leader wants to stay there.
And they fear that leader.
And so, to me, isn't that kind of a cult, though?
I mean, in a way, in theory, I definitely think. I think that's more about power trip, though, and survival.
But we were just talking about that like a few seconds ago. Like, it is about power. And so you have a group of people following you.
Yeah.
I mean, does that not make...
Are gangs cults? Like, that's another thing, too,
Yeah, also
in a way.
Too. But each gang operates on its own individual set.
Right, but every cult has their own, like, niche, has their own...
But they all answer to one person.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could say that.
A system of religious veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or object is a cult, is the definition of cult.
When I think of a cult, I think of a community in nature. They're never really in cities.
No.
It's in nature. They're wearing white. The dude is the leader. He has a beard. They're vegetarians. They make their own food. They grow their own food.
So vegetarians are bad people.
No, hey, and I was vegan and vegetarian very long time, so no. But they're into like a lot of them are into.
You didn't make your argument.
A lot of them are like into the health, like nutrition, health. They grow their own stuff, but I always feel like there's some type of money involved. Like the newer cults, I think, want money. Where back in like the 60s, 70s, it's like, no, like bring whatever you have,
think
contribute.
About what you just described. So I think that those elements are not because the cult leader feels like that's how you should be. I think that they say it's like hiding what they really are about in, because being healthy is good.
Right.
Loving your neighbor is good. You know, all this. So it's like,
it sounds all good.
Be healthy. We're going to have gardens and
flowers.
So I think that's why those elements have been a part of, like cults, because they're hiding what they really are. They're saying
sex and money.
Come and
but it's
control.
I think it has changed throughout the decades for sure.
But then you got Satanic Panic.
Yeah.
Was all the rage in the like
the
70s,
60s, 70s,
70s, early into the 80s. But then you have cults, newer cults, modern cults like Skull and Bones and the Masons, the Freemasons, the Illuminati. Even those are technically secret societies. Those are also cults as well.
Yeah.
Because they all follow.
Have been around for a while.
They all follow traditions. Because cults follow traditions.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a sense of like tradition about it, and yeah, I don't know. I don't really know super much about Satanism. I've kind of researched more that it doesn't all seem like they want like death on everybody, or they don't really wish bad. It's more of like they're gonna do what they want and they won't hurt anyone.
It's funny because like a lot of this, like the cults back then, I feel like they weren't Satanism or anything. Like, but it's funny because back then it was all that. But then once Satanism became an actual religion, you don't see cults anymore about Satan anymore.
I mean, they still have their community and their.
But I'm
original...
saying they have their own church now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the Church of Satan.
Like saying, what's his name? Anton
LaVey.
I know, but I'm saying though.
It was in San Francisco. Their first building.
But I'm saying though, before that, all the rage was the Satanic Panic. All these cults were worshiping Satan. But then when the church actually was legitimized, you don't see those cults. Is what I'm trying to say.
That's true.
You don't hear about cults worshiping Satan anymore. You hear cults worshiping a man, not a deity, or a man that's claiming to be a deity.
Yeah.
And so when Satanism became an actual religion and legitimized, that's when these other cults started forming.
Yeah.
Because like now I can't take advantage of someone's religion. Now I have to take advantage of saying I am the God.
Yeah.
That's just my take on it though. And I feel like that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, and I feel like the 90s it kind of resurfaced a little bit, like the whole Satanism thing, and then they made it with like rock and rollers or metalheads, like the 3 kids that were prosecuted, West Memphis 3. That just because they were metalheads and the guy was like into Wicca, they accused them and they thought they were Satanists and they thought they murdered those boys in that way. But it turns out they didn't do that. So I don't know. It's
Swedish death metal.
Yeah.
True Norwegian
black metal. And that was just all for like fun and theater, like that attitude, So I don't know. Like a lot of it ties with music, but I feel like the OG of cults are like the Source family. I don't know if you know a lot about them. They were in like LA in the 70s. There was a guy that led them. They had like they had restaurants, and there's actually some restaurants in SF that are vegetarian, and people think they're a cult because when you walk in, there's like pamphlets and stuff. It's like this. I don't know if she's Japanese or Chinese, but she owns the thing, and you can like go where they meditate and stuff. So I don't know. There's like everyone says it's a cult, but it's like, I don't know. But a lot of it stems from like naturalism, natural foods, natural clothing, natural ways of life, you know? So I don't know. I find it really interesting, and I always like reading about them and watching documentaries about it because it's really mind blowing.
Yeah, it is, and cults are a really fascinating study.
Maybe part of the definition of a cult is where you suspend your own reason and
belief,
common sense, and your own, maybe your questioning ability to take on a leader's
belief. Yeah.
You sort of, yours fall to the wayside, and you become whatever they want you to be.
And because they don't really have anything already, so they can get that knowledge in their brain. They can adapt whatever that person is saying, and you know, oh, okay, I do believe in this. Yeah.
Which is probably, which makes sense. Them picking a certain personality that is maybe needing or hungry for, for something to be accepted.
Hungry for more. So, yeah, we wanted to talk about 3 movies each that surround cults. Just because I don't really hear a lot of people talk about, like, cult. I mean, there's cult movies. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, like, actual, like, cult.
There's plenty of occult movies, but I don't know. What was your criteria when you went through...
cult or occult?
The occult.
The occult?
Cult, yeah. I mean, it's
not
spelled...
Occult.
It's spelled OCCULT.
No, occult is...
Occult is like mysticism, right? And like...
Yeah. I think you mean just cult movie. Like cults.
No, that's how it's spelled. Oh my god.
I'm the only one not drinking in this episode, FYI. There's the occult, and then there's cult. Occult is more like mysticism, like tarot, astrology.
Like being interested in the occult.
Yeah.
And
then cult, like a cult group. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, okay, so it is cult. But it's funny because those two are actually swapped. Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And so to me, it's like, oh, the occult.
Because you don't even follow the occult, so you're like,
yeah,
whatever.
Like, yeah.
Well, no, it's just like, when you see cult movies, they call it sometimes the occult, but when you think about it, those are actually supernatural cults.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So to me, you can't separate the two because a lot of the movies deal with the supernatural.
With the supernatural, yeah. The ones I did definitely do.
And they deal with either Wiccan, paganism, Satanism, or whatever. Mm-hmm. There's very few movies where it's about a man exploiting someone.
Yeah, like I said, you're only going to find that really in like documentaries. Or there's a movie called The Sacrament that they did.
Which is on Shudder.
It's on Shudder, yeah. And I think Amazon or Netflix. It used to be. They might have taken it off.
Netflix. No, Amazon. It's
Amazon. But you're only really going to find those in documentaries.
Yeah. And that's kind of a shame too, because there's so much you can do with a story of that magnitude. Yeah. And because think about it, like you can do so much. Actually, no, there's a few movies. Actually. One with Liz Olsen, Martha May Marlene.
But it's not horror, yeah.
But it is a cult movie, though, and it deals with a cult. Yeah. So, and she's on the run from the cult members. Yeah.
But it's tricky because there are drama movies. That one I would classify as a drama, an independent drama. But we strictly wanted to do horror-based cult movies, just to clarify.
Oh, and The Cult is a really good band. Just saying.
Okay, so what was your criteria?
I did ones that I really liked, but it's funny because a lot of mine deal around like Satan, satanic kind of stuff. And I wasn't going for that, but these are just the ones that I've been like into for a while. And one that I didn't like when I first saw it, but then I rewatched it a couple times and ended up liking it. And I wanted to give that some shout out. So what about you?
Watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I really tried to look for movies that dealt with a Manson-esque kind of character. Yeah. Because I felt like that was more in line with of what I was looking for and what I was trying to see. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the time that I keep running into is that it dealt with paganism, Wiccan, and all that, and it's just like, fuck, man, I don't.
The occult.
It didn't, and so to me, it just didn't resonate, and I was just like, man, I want to find one that's really down to earth, one that's grounded. There is one that I did find, and it was a nice discovery a few years ago, and I fucking loved it, and I'll get into it later. But I wanted to do Martha May Marlene, but I remember watching it. I fucking didn't like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that guy was really good, though.
He was good, but it wasn't until like the last half hour. I was like, oh, okay, it got good.
It's kind of slow.
It was fucking snail space.
Damn it! This reminds me. There was a movie that came out that has the girl from True Blood, and she ends up in a cult, and they all like, oh, it's not horror though, but it was a really. I got it. One? No. Who's the redhead one that was in? I don't know my phone on me. Oh, I don't know if it was the. Remember you said there's a Nike guy, the Nikes.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of similar to that story.
Where they all had the black Nikes with the.
Like they're all laying down, they all die.
Yeah, they're all covered in the blankets.
Yeah.
What were they? That's a recent one.
But so this movie, it wasn't based on that, but I forgot the name. But I gotta look it up later. I don't have my phone on me. That was a good one though. But it wasn't horror. It was drama.
Okay.
But so that's another one that off air I'll tell you about. But yeah, this was hard. This was actually hard to do. But
a lot of shit.
Yeah.
A lot of shit.
So do you want to go first?
No, I don't want to go first.
I went first last time.
No. Okay, so fuck. So I saw a movie called Jackals. That's not one of my picks, but that's one of the movies that I saw research, and I just did not like it. I thought it was terrible.
Okay.
And this dealt with a Manson-esque kind of person, but you don't really see.
Aren't they wearing like animals?
Yeah, they're
Animal
all wearing
masks?
jackal masks. And so it was not that good. The emotional support, or
what made it bad?
Just everything. The actors.
Really?
Yeah, it was terrible.
That sucks.
It just didn't work for me because, this is a story about a family trying to bring back their son from the cult, and then
it wasn't even creepy.
But the emotional
just silly.
Yeah, but the emotional thing just didn't work either.
Yeah, there was no emotional depth.
Yeah,
it was very like
they were a means to an end.
It was like sometimes they cared, sometimes the dad cared about the son, sometimes he didn't care. Let him go. I don't know. Nothing made sense.
Yeah, not a favorite one, but so. I had to go back and look at the other cult movies I looked at, and had to settle for some supernatural ones.
Okay.
So this one is from 1988, and this actually has an Elm Street connection to it. Jennifer Rubin stars in it, she is the badass in Elm Street 3. I forgot her fucking name in that movie though. The one with the mohawk.
Oh yeah. Taryn.
There you go.
I'm bad and beautiful. Or what did she say?
I'm bad. No, I'm beautiful.
And bad.
And bad. Wow, that's just poor delivery.
Yeah, it was.
So 1988, Bad Dreams.
Oh, I just recently saw that. That's one of your picks?
That's one of my picks, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it deals with a cult leader. So the movie starts out with the cult about to commit mass suicide, and one of them doesn't want to do it. She knows it's wrong, and then the house explodes. She's the only survivor of the cult, and she's in a coma for about 13 years.
But she has like these crazy dreams, right?
She has crazy dreams, but then you find out that they're all induced, and so yeah. But I felt like the cult leader in this movie was actually pretty decent. Yeah. He was actually pretty fucking scary. And actually, there's a lot of issues with this movie that I have.
Yeah, I didn't love it, to be honest.
I didn't like this movie. There's a lot of potential to this movie.
It was like a cool concept.
And I did not care for the twist at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, seriously? Yeah. That's bullshit.
Did you watch that on Tubi or Shudder?
No, I watched it on Shudder.
Yeah.
And there was another sequence too where like the old people they sneak away, and they're gonna have sex, and they drink, and then all of a sudden it's like, let's jump into the fucking fan. Like, what?
I know. I was like, what the? I kept like, I just wasn't into it. Like, I wanted to like it because I like her, and the concept was like really cool, but I couldn't get into it.
And so that's one of the reasons why I picked this, because I was like, they had the cult, and the cult leader is haunting her throughout, and saying, you need to join us, you need to finish what you started, otherwise I'm going to take everyone from you. And basically he does, and I kind of wish they would have gone with her dying at the end.
Yeah,
I thought that would
have been a better ending.
Yeah, it would have been a much better ending than the cop out than we got. It was okay, but I was entertained, but I found myself bored toward the second act. Like, oh man,
same.
And there's a lot of characters there too that you just don't care for.
Yeah, kind of just like mindless characters.
Yeah. You're supposed to care for Jennifer Ruber, then she comes off like annoying.
Yeah,
and like dumb.
So why'd you pick this one again?
Because
sounds like you don't really like it.
I mean, I kind of like it, but it's like I don't know any other ones, so I was like, I'm not picking Jackals because that movie was just terrible.
So you don't even recommend that to watch at all?
I know I do recommend people watch Bad Dreams. I do. I think people should watch,
but not Jackals.
Not Jackals. That's terrible. Save an hour and a half and watch Bad Dreams instead. Because you'll have a better time watching Bad Dreams.
Really?
Yeah. Well, after watching Jackals, yeah, you would.
All right.
After watching shit, you get shit, but it knows it's shit.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's pretty funny. And the Freddy Krueger ripoff was actually pretty decent. I actually thought he could have been a decent Freddy kind of character.
Yeah.
Had they not done what they did at the end.
I know.
Which fucking drove me crazy. It was like, seriously? You kind of knew that was going that way? And then the cop, he was so fucking useless.
Yeah.
Like, why is he even in the movie?
What's the point? Exactly.
Like, why are you in this movie again?
Yeah.
You just show up and just show your shoulders and then walk off screen.
Man.
But, no, that's Bad Dreams. Yeah, 1988.
1988. Okay. So I found that film I was talking about just before. It's called Forever. Came out 2015. Has Deborah Ann Wall, the cute redhead from True Blood. And Luke Grimes is also in it. So that movie is about, like, she is a young investigative reporter, but she suffers loss and ends up finding this commune that helps her find love again. And everyone that's there also has lost someone, but the ending is like so tragic. It's similar to that Nike story, but it wasn't a perfect film, but it was like an interesting story for sure. So that was Forever 2015. That's not one of my picks. I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay. So I'm going to start off with one that doesn't really get talked about. And I was debating this one because initially when I saw it in theaters, I didn't love it. I was really excited for it when it came out, but no theater was showing it. It was only showing it like this little independent theater in SF when I was living there. So I went with my boyfriend at the time, and it's The House of the Devil.
You bitch. That was mine.
What?
That was my pick.
2009. I told you I was going to do this one.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
I told you I was doing this one.
No.
Yeah?
No.
Yes.
I don't know what Kool-Aid you're drinking, but no. So, did you see this movie in theaters?
No, I had to wait a year for it to come out on DVD.
Because it like was only showing in like a couple of theaters.
Yeah, I think it only got released over like 1,100 theaters.
Yeah. So what were... Okay, well, let me ask you this. What were your first thoughts?
Oh, I fucking loved it.
You loved it right off the bat?
Right off the bat. I was just like... I was really enthralled because I didn't know what kind of movie this was. Yeah. I remember... So when I first heard about this movie, I was reading an article on Bloody Disgusting, and they were talking about, oh man, this is like one of the best Halloween movies that you'll ever see. Mm-hmm. And it was on the list along with Trick or Treat and on a bunch of other ones. Yeah. And I was like, man, I want to see this movie. I never saw a trailer for it.
Oh, so you just went in without seeing a trailer or anything?
I didn't see no trailer, nothing. Brad Muska is usually good at reviewing movies, and so I trust his taste more than any other writers on BD. And I think because we have a similar taste, and I really like. So when I read it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna check this out. I was walking through Target one October, and I saw it sitting there for $20.
Oh wow!
And I saw the cover. The cover just looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's like her face kind of screaming, and
then like the house is all glowing. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, so I picked it up along with another movie, and I went on my lunch. I watched it, and I was just blown away. It's like, oh my god, this is awesome. So the thing for me that really sold it was the performance. Was Jocelyn Donahue's performance. Yeah, she to me carried that movie.
Why isn't she more famous? Because she's like actually a really good actress.
I don't know.
She's not that like she should be in more things, you know.
I think even Joe Bob said that too because he did this movie on his last drive-in. Oh, and he's just like, where is she?
Yeah, I mean she's like listed in a couple things, but she's like really. I really liked her. You know? I thought she played that character so well.
She had like this whole thing about her. You know what I mean? There was just something that when you saw this movie, you're like, you buy it.
You buy it, yeah.
Like, you totally buy that. My first instinct, I did not see it going where it went, because I didn't know where it was going, but then I was like, oh, shit. This is pretty awesome. I liked it.
So when I first saw the trailer, it was like, count me in. This has like a 70s, 80s vibe. The music sounds cool. Let's do this. So I went and I saw it. I absolutely loved the way it was shot. And I just loved the whole like vibe and the whole like vision of the film. I did think it was a little slow, and I'm like, okay, well, where's this going? You know, so to back it up, the film is about this girl who's a college student and
who needs money.
She needs money, and she just found this apartment that she really likes, but she needs like more money to live there. So she takes this like, she keeps seeing these ads for babysitting. So she calls the number, and the guy's kind of weird. Like, you get a kind of weird vibe from him. And she's like, okay, I'll do it. And he goes, I'll pay you double. I had someone, but she didn't work out. So I really need someone. So I'll pay you double. So she tells her friend, who's played by Greta Gerwig. And Greta Gerwig's funny. It's funny. She, you know, her attitude reminds me.
Before she was Greta.
She reminds me of Annie from Halloween. Like that kind of like annoying character. Like she had that kind of vibe, especially like when she's eating the pizza. But she's funny. So her friend is kind of like, well, you know, I don't know about these people. Let me go with you. I'll drive you there. So they go there, and the guy, I fucking love this actor. Like,
Tom Noonan.
He's so, if you've seen Manhunter, oh my God, he plays Creep so well. You know, and he's all tall. Like, he's just such a good actor.
Kane.
Yeah. So he's there. He's the guy that called her, and he kind of tells her, like, it's not a child that you're going to be watching. I didn't want to tell you this over the phone. It's actually my mom. Don't worry. You don't have to do anything. You just have to stay here at the house. So already you're kind of getting these creepy, like, vibes, and it's like this house in the middle of nowhere near the woods, and there's an eclipse happening that night. Everyone's obsessed with this eclipse. So her friend decides to like leave because the girl says, oh no, I feel fine. Like, you can go. It's okay. I'll call you when you get home. Girl gets murdered by
AJ Bowen.
AJ Bowen, of course. And she's bye-bye. Like, that was a pretty gnarly kill, by the way. Like, her whole face gets like blown off.
Bye-bye.
She's bye-bye. So the girl's like in this house, and she starts hearing weird noises and finds like things that the owner doesn't add up. Like, oh, this isn't their house. So I thought that was really cool. And then it turns out it's actually a cult, and they wanted the girl. And like, so who? Okay, let me ask you this, because I rewatched it. Is that Satan, or who is that?
That's supposed to be.
Is that their mom?
What, the demon that's on top of her?
Yeah.
That's supposed to be, that's not the mom. That's actually one of the demons they...
Summoned or something?
Summoned,
okay.
Yeah.
And did that impregnate her?
Yeah.
Weird, okay.
Like, he didn't, like...
You don't really know.
Yeah, but you see him, like, touching her stomach, and then,
and like her belly.
The blood.
The pentagram.
And stuff like that. And so once he does that, and puts his soul into her.
So he doesn't, like, do her, then?
He doesn't do her. He just, like, transfers his soul into another host.
Okay.
And so it creates another baby.
So she's supposed to have, like, the spawn.
She's supposed to have the Antichrist.
Yeah.
And so you're supposed to let them believe, like, oh, that's Damien.
Okay. So I thought that was...
it's like kind of mimicking the Immaculate Conception.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I thought, like, that was an interesting, like, story. I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. But,
I mean, that last 20 minutes, like, when you get to it, it's like,
it's kind of worth the wait, you know? But I liked the waiting. Like,
why didn't you like this
I don't know. I must have been in a weird mood at the time. Like, because I saw this in fall at a little independent theater with my boyfriend at the time. I don't know. Like, he wasn't into it. So maybe that, like, had an effect on me. But I remember loving the way it was shot, absolutely. But then I rewatched it, like, actually two more times. And I was like, I'm really digging this. Like, my mind changed, like over 10 years ago. My mind has really changed. So
it's not like she's helpless or anything like that.
No, and she's
not
a strong character, and that's what I liked about her.
She's really written very well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And you sympathize with her, like, oh, she just needs the money, like she needs to move out because her roommate's a slut and just has sex all the time. Like she just needs to move out of there,
what
you know?
A slut.
Well, she's like gross and like dirty, and her side. It's funny because like her side of the room is like clothes everywhere, and then the girl, like our main character, is like all neat. But, like, you want her to get out, you know? You want her to, like, be safe. So, you don't hate any characters in this movie, I feel. Everyone's pretty likable. So, I actually really like this, and I think this is a great movie to watch during the fall. Because you get that vibe.
This is one of those movies that I always try to watch in October.
Yeah.
Like, for a while, this Trick or Treat, and, no, it was actually this and Trick or Treat were my double feature for
That's
a
like
long
a double
time.
feature.
And I would always watch those in October because to me they just play so well.
Yeah, and you feel that, you know. So the whole cult thing, I guess, is more like satanic in this one, but I couldn't find that much trivia on this actually. But so I have a couple. It was actually shot on 16mm film, which was popular in the 80s, and that gives it that retro stylistic look. And then it says, if you notice, the film says it's based on true events in the beginning, but the events, it's never really mentioned again or in press releases.
The only true event, and I think Ty West even says, is the eclipse.
That's the only thing?
That's the only thing.
Oh my god, are you serious?
I think that's the only thing, because I think he says it in the commentary, and it says, like, oh yeah, like, I didn't really want to have this as a true event.
Okay.
Because, like, I think that's just misleading. And so the only thing that really happened was the eclipse.
I wonder, was that 83? Or what
83, 84?
Because they played the fix, one thing leads to another. So I'm wondering if that 83?
That had to be
84, something like that.
Because he was saying also, like, around that time,
yeah,
like, when the eclipse happened, a lot of people theorized that,
something's
all these cults out here, Satanisms, are doing, like, you know, rituals for the occult and rise.
That's so funny.
And so, like, the only thing that's real is the eclipse. That's funny.
That's funny. Most of the crew was locally sourced from Connecticut, where the film was shot, to help keep the costs down to $1 million. Sadly, it only made $25,000 opening weekend. Didn't make that much money.
So 1,100 theaters.
It's not that much. Yeah.
That's nothing.
I do feel like now, though, it's gaining. A lot of people are starting to talk about it now.
Well, thanks to Joe. I honestly think thanks to Joe Bob, it got a.
Is it becoming a cult classic?
Well,
we shall see.
It is becoming a Halloween classic.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that right now. Like this is one of those movies that people bring up, you know, during Halloween. Like, I watch this during October all the time because I think it's
totally. I'm gonna watch it again in October. I just love those shots though. Like, I love those. Reminds me of Halloween, the movie, where it's just simplistic, like her walking, you know, and like the music and like being in her environment. I don't know. I really like those type of scenes.
And I also think because of Joe Bob did it on the last drive-in, it also opened up a brand new audience to that movie.
When did he do that? Do you remember? Was that the new drive-in?
Yeah, the new drive-in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So within the last year, right?
Yeah, I think what are we in? August?
We're in August 2019.
So in June?
Oh, this June?
Yeah, this
June. Okay.
And I think he paired it with something else, and but this was the second movie. And
do you know what he paired it with?
I can find out. But anything else about it though? Like, I really do like Ty West.
Yeah, I do too. I think
he's a really underrated director. And, And
did you like The Innkeepers?
That's the only movie that I have not seen.
I didn't care for it, to be honest.
I heard it was like a wannabe Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
but no, not as funny.
I really think him and his cinematographer really researched and like were fans of 70s, 80s style, because they totally knocked that out of the park. Like, if you didn't know what year this came out, you would think, oh, this is an older film. Like, you would not think this came out in 2009, you know? And I love that for that. And the music, like I said, was really good. And the house was really cool. Oh, supposedly the house was infested with ladybugs, and you can see ladybugs in some of the scenes. That was kind of funny.
I've had that happen here.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that good luck though? Like, ladybugs are supposed to be good luck.
So
they're so cute.
He paired it with Demon Wind.
Oh, that's a weird.
Well, it actually makes sense. So
I could see this being paired with a movie I will talk about as my number one.
Okay,
but I won't tell you right now.
Well, you're gonna have to, because that was my number 2.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was my number 2 pick.
Okay, what's your other pick?
Well, no, I'm not done talking about this fucking movie.
Jesus Christ, the anger cult. Would everybody wear red because they're angry?
Yeah.
No, everyone's gonna wear like sky blue.
That's too calm, you're not calm.
No, but it's because of the sky blue is gonna try to make me calm, and I'm gonna even take my anger out even more.
Oh my god.
Because then you'll decide randomly you don't like blue anymore.
Yeah, and make everyone wear green.
Jeez, what a dick thing to do. So what were we gonna say?
I really do like this movie. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
I think Jocelyn carries this movie, and she does it very well. And you can totally tell the John Carpenter influence.
Oh,
on
totally.
her.
And Texas Chainsaw a little bit because the ass shots and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I see more Halloween because Halloween spends a majority of the film setting up your characters.
Yeah.
And this one spends a whole time setting up this main character.
Yeah.
And that ending, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really see
the,
that coming.
The nurse comes up, you'll be okay, you and you.
I remember when I first saw that, and like, I was like, fuck, that's crazy. And I just remember just like having this feeling like, oh man, the sense of dread is like, fuck, that sucks. Because you don't even know she comes out of that coma.
That's the thing. Like, you know, like, do you think he meant to do like a sequel to this or no?
No, he actually contemplated that ending.
Really?
He actually contemplated. It's like, I don't know if I wanted to do that because I felt like it might have been in poor taste, but I felt like, you know, it made sense because in the end, they won.
Yeah.
So, what better way to illustrate they won than to, you know, do that?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my number 2 as well. I really enjoyed this movie a lot.
Do you watch pizza when you eat it? Because like, there's so much pizza in this movie.
No.
Really?
No.
I would be like, oh, I totally think Johnny would be having pizza watching this.
He's already eating pizza.
Right?
That's a thing.
No, like watching this, like I'll have like I'll make like a breakfast or something like that. Like
breakfast?
Yeah, like French toast.
This is not really a breakfast type of film.
No, because like I associate French toast with like cold weather. And
Oh,
so, like,
I'll
have French toast and
some
cocoa and stuff like that. And
or like
just watch
pancakes.
Cocoa.
Some hot cocoa with little marshmallows.
Nah, I'm not a fan of marshmallows.
Oh my god.
I don't like marshmallows on my cocoa.
My cocoa.
On my cocoa.
My cocoa.
But my lady does.
Yeah, she likes some kind of
Me
marshmallow.
lady. What? I think I missed that. Was that mine? You know,
No,
just
this
to
is
point
mine.
this out, Johnny's got like fucking Skittles that he's not sharing with the rest of the class today.
God
They're
damn.
just like sitting there looking at us.
Like,
Unopened.
why are they
being a
even there?
tease?
Because
Yeah,
watch this.
I was gonna eat them, but I wasn't gonna eat them because
You don't want the wrapper
He didn't
sound?
want to share them because he's a...
you don't like Skittles anyway. We went over this.
Oh, come on. Look at him.
All right, what's
Okay.
your number 2?
That was my number 2.
Well,
so
what's
you
your number?
go. You
I have
gotta
to go again?
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna
have to
like
go
get
again.
dry mouth. Okay.
Well, drink your water then. Jesus.
All right. Dun dun dun. So, my number 2 is The Wicker Man, and no, not the
I was wondering about that one.
not the Nicolas Cage one, although that's fucking great as well because that's got some great one-liners.
That's got some great acting scenes.
Oh.
For real.
So this is the one from 1973. I really love this film. I think it's like, oh, thank you. I think it's just a beautiful film. I want to, like Midsummer, I want to live like in that time. I'd be in that kind of cult, hands down. Like everybody just wears like colorful things. It's like
and
in
trip
nature.
on acid.
Trip on acid. They wear like beautiful clothes. They have like amazing music. You know, everyone's name too is like a flower or a tree, which I thought was interesting if you like watch it again. But I just think it's a really cool story. You know,
So I've never seen The Wicker Man.
you haven't. You've never seen have you seen the remake?
I saw parts of the remake, but I
Okay.
never saw it. But I never sat and watched it. Mainly because I just didn't have any interest in it.
Okay.
Like again, like I talked about this earlier in our episodes. I'm not a big fan of 70s movies.
Which is like so disappointing because those are the best.
Which it's just funny because I like Let's Scare Jessica to Death, but
Yeah.
for whatever reason, the aesthetic of the 70s movies just it doesn't please my eyes or anything. It's like,
Why
it's
though?
hard. I don't know.
See,
I don't know.
I
Can't
feel
relate
like
to, you just can't relate.
You just can't relate
what's
to
going
it?
on, the scenery of them.
Maybe. I mean, I watched The Changeling, but I don't even know if that's a 70s movie. I think that's an 80s movie.
I'm not 100%
Seen
sure.
it?
Is it late 70s? Early 80s?
I remember going to the drive-in to see that.
That might be early 80s. I don't know. To me, why I love the 70s is because they fucking let their actors breathe. You're not up close. The
performances, they're able to breathe.
They're able to breathe in the shots, though, too. Like, you're not so up close in someone's face. They give that distance and that space. And I love, it's like Westerns, right? Like, I love wide shots, and I love when they use that. And I just feel like the editing, like, if you look like Don't Look Now.
Which I want to see, and I just missed it on Shudder.
So same with Wicker Man. They do, in the 70s, this was really popular. When there's a shocking scene, they do like a crazy close-up. And that to me is like way more effective, because when you're watching a movie, it's wide shots, right? It's distance. But then when something shocking happens, it's like in your face. So I feel like that's more effective than where you watch horror movies today. Everything's up close, boom, boom. It's in your face. It's not as scary to me.
It's not subtle.
And the music is creepier in the 70s. It's not like a fucking popular song that they're playing every 10 minutes like MTV. It's actual, it's composed, you know.
You didn't have to work as hard, though.
What do you mean?
Like in the 70s, you don't have to work as hard to scare your audience.
I just think the 70s effect of scaring someone was more intense than it is today. Today they want more violence.
Let me backtrack. Because back then it was easier to scare them. Mm-hmm. Now it's harder to scare them.
Because we're desensitized? Or
that too, but you need a cue for people to register fear.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they have the close-ups, because you need to register that moment that you see on their face. Like, oh my God, I should be scared right now.
Yeah.
But it's a lot harder to scare people now than it was 20, 30, 40 years back then.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just think the sound effects were creepier. The shots were creepier. And it was just, I don't know. I just really love the way things were made back then. I just think it's way more effective than today's films. Which is interesting, because I'm surprised you like The House of the Devil, because that is exactly how the 70s and 80s films were shot.
But I can watch an 80s movie, no problem. I can watch anything from the 80s.
Do you think because the 80s...
Is 1980.
It was 1980?
So it's right on the cusp.
So do you think you
crust,
can...
you mean? Hotter?
Yeah.
Hotter?
Do you think you can handle the 80s more because that was more slasher?
No, I've been trying to expand my palette and trying to watch as much films, but for some reasons there's certain films that I just can't watch because I'm just like, I'm not into the actor, I'm just not into the direction or the editing or the music, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I could watch certain movies from the 70s, but I guess with me, it's just like, I guess certain horror films, I think horror films back then, it was all just supernatural. I'm not a big fan of supernatural horror movies.
But The Exorcist. Well, that's supernatural, but I mean...
Yeah, but The Exorcist, but that right there came out, 78?
73.
73.
73?
Yeah.
But at that time, you had nothing after it that replicated The Exorcist.
Jaws.
Well...
For me
Jaws
personally.
Was another one, right?
Yeah.
Didn't Jaws come out in 70? I remember it. The Omen?
Halloween.
Omen, yeah.
Let's Scare Jessica Death. Black Christmas, 1974. I mean, to me, the greatest horror was in the 70s.
Yeah, and you could have got away with a lot more. Mm-hmm. Last House on the Left.
Oh my God, yeah. Which is still banned in certain places, right?
But just like with me, there's certain movies that I'm just like,
you're just not into.
So what about movies that take place in the 70s and are filmed similar?
Like The House of the Devil.
Like which one?
I'm just saying in general. What about movies that...
Well, I could watch those.
Time period is in the 70s. And it's filmed maybe the same way.
No, I could watch those. I mean, for some reason, I could watch those. I don't know. I just feel like back then, there's certain movies from that era that I'm just... they don't interest me, and Wicker Man is one of them. It's just like, I don't know. I
feel like since you like Midsummer, you would like the Wicker Man because it's very similar.
Yeah, and so I was listening to a podcast and we're saying, yeah, if you watch Wicker Man, you already know where this story is going.
Where it's going, yeah.
But I never saw Wicker Man, so when that ending happened, it was like, oh shit, that was like a nice surprise.
Yeah, the ending to Wicker Man is very intense. I will say that. It
but it's been spoiled for me. Like,
so you already know what happens.
I know what happens because like I watch essays on that video because they talk about how the cult is and how the leading man all of a sudden, because that guy was supposed to be like the leading man like in the 60s going into the 70s, but then he started doing horror movies and then all of a sudden, you know, it's like early, like our Hollywood episode, you know.
Well, I think you should still watch it.
No, I mean, it is on my list, you know. Again, like I said, I'm trying to expand.
Yeah.
You know, that's I'll get to it when I get to it.
But I do think they do the whole, like, pagan... It's really hard because everyone just... A lot of people don't know where paganism actually, like, comes from. They don't really know the religion. And in cinema, they portray it being, like, evil, and it's not at all. Paganism is just, like, an umbrella term for a bunch of other different religions. But a lot of them associate it with, like, Wicca or, you know, that kind of stuff. So I feel like they did that they did that really beautiful in this film. And, you know, you have the animals in every little village and everyone, it's like the cult thing. Like, everyone makes their food and, you know, gathers flowers and there's like a bar and they drink at. So I feel like that part is really pretty, but like the underlying story of it is very terrifying. I actually found some interesting trivia on this I didn't know about. Christopher Lee, who's in it, says this was his favorite film that he's ever been in. And he even paid for his own press tour out of pocket and hit every stop willing to interview him about the movie. It's also rumored that he did the role for free because he was so into it. And I think that's pretty awesome because you don't really see that with a lot of actors. And he's just like, he's a really good actor in this as well. And like his little suit that he wears and his hairstyle, it's so 70s. It's great.
This was
Christopher Lee. Yeah. I also didn't know this. So screenwriter Anthony Shaffer read the David Pinner novel Ritual, in which a Christian policeman is called to investigate what appears to be the ritual murder of a young girl in a rural village, and decided that it would serve well as the source material for the project. David Pinner originally wrote Ritual as a film treatment for director Michael Winner, who actually wanted John Hurt to be the star. Schaefer and Lee paid Pinner £15,000 for the rights to the novel, and Schaefer set to work on the screenplay and made some changes. So I actually want to read the book, just because of the similarities and like
see how much they changed.
Yeah, see how much they changed in it. I think they made it more culty. The movie made it a little more culty, as far as I know. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then the U.S. re-release was scheduled for November 1978, but get this. After a real-life tragedy involving a cult with a charismatic, sinister leader in a remote location, it got pushed out to January. Guess what that tragedy was?
Waco?
The Jonestown Massacre.
Oh, Jonestown.
Isn't that interesting?
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
That was 80s, right? Or 90s?
90s.
Waco was late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah, that was
something like that.
Oh, okay.
But isn't that trippy?
That's fucking crazy.
I feel like today it would even be pushed back more.
Further.
Yeah, or maybe not even released.
It'd be released because they spent so much money in there. There's no way in hell a studio would sit on that movie.
Not even like DVDs?
They would release it for sure.
In theaters?
They would release it in theaters, but they wouldn't put money behind press though.
Yeah.
They wouldn't promote it. They just like release it quietly and see if it make its money.
Isn't that crazy though? I thought that was like so trippy when I was reading that.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
But I really recommend this film. I really think you should watch it. It is a little, it is a little long. But
2003.
Waco?
Like
Wait, Waco was 2003?
Yeah, I was trying to think that I remember my kids were younger.
No.
I thought Waco was like, I thought I was young when that happened. 2003.
What cult was in Waco, Texas? Koresh?
David
right?
Koresh.
David Koresh.
What sign was he? I'm really curious what sign
Virgo?
he was. No.
Oh.
Are you serious?
Let me see. Wait. Let me...
It was 1993.
1993?
What did I say?
2003?
It says 2003 in the top.
But this one is the one I was thinking of. It's the Waco siege. It was a siege of a compound belonging to religious sect Branch Davidians.
And what was the other Waco?
I don't know.
Was that another shooting?
Referencing?
And then this one was the religious sect Branch Davidians, carried out by American federal and Texas state law enforcement as well as U.S. military between February 28th and April 19th.
That's the Koresh one.
1993.
Okay. Well, that's weird that one said 2003. I'm like, what? Was there another thing that happened, like a shooting?
Yeah, the Branch Davidians were led by
Davidian?
Koresh.
The Davidians?
Davidians, right?
Davidians.
Headquartered at April 19th, 2003, after a 51-day standoff with Branch Davidian cult members.
That's wrong.
And their leader, David Koresh. It says 2003. That's weird.
No, it's 1993.
It's got to be because he had that 90s like look.
Yeah.
Right?
And I remember that was such a big thing.
That was a huge thing growing up. I remember that. I was just a little kid. David Koresh, what sign were you?
It might have been. There might have been another incident.
A Leo. August 17th.
There might have been
another.
Am I
not surprised?
Like, look at that look. Look at that. Look at those glasses.
He looks like a Leo. Oh, look at those glasses. Who has glasses like that?
Every, like, serial killer.
My Jeffrey Dahmer glasses.
Oh, my God. Those are pretty cool. I'd wear those glasses. But, yeah, so I really recommend you watching The Wicker Man, giving it a go. It is a really cool, different film. Really cool music, too. So, I really recommend it.
All right. So, my number one is from 2015, directed by Karen Kusuma, and it is The Invitation.
That was a really good movie.
This fucking movie is so weird that you kind of don't know where it's going.
So with Tom Hardy?
Discount Tom Hardy?
Discount. He looks just like Tom Hardy. Like, they could be brothers.
Man, if they ever do a dark cap, I want to see
that would be
those two casted. I want to see Tom Hardy as Stark and Green as Beaumont.
Oh my God, that would be crazy.
Because I would love to see those two. Like, that'd be great. But this has Logan Green Marshall, and he's going through a divorce, and he's invited back by his ex-wife to a dinner party. And right off the bat, there's a bunch of people there, and he doesn't know them, but he gets a weird feeling. And
everyone's dressed like really nice.
Yeah, and he feels like there's something going on. It's like, what is this? Like this, something's weird.
Something's off.
But the thing that's so great about it is that it makes you think that it's all in his head, that he's tripping. You know what I mean? And by the time the ending happens and it's revealed, you're like, holy shit, that is such a good reveal. And they wait, too.
It takes its time. Yeah.
They wait, especially to that last moment, and then you see that whole hillside just light up. It's like, oh my God.
That part I was like, what?
Like, there's others, too?
Yeah.
Like that. And there's this guy who thinks like he's trying to lure him in as well. He's trying to make him part of the family, but he's not buying this bullshit. It's like, no, like, I don't want to be part of your little cult here.
And they never really say, like, what the cult is.
No.
I mean, there's, like, no name. They don't really tell, like, a lot of details about it. So it's kind of left up to your imagination, too,
I think. It is.
Yeah.
Also, I think there's, like, a big religious thing to it, though.
Is there?
Because, like, the guy that's there, that comes in later.
Yeah.
And he's the one that's counseling the ex-wife.
Yeah.
He kind of seems like, you know, that set's leader, you know what I mean? So it feels like there's like some religious overtones as well.
Yeah.
But it's not like prevalent or anything.
No.
But it's like you kind of like think, oh.
It's like in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think that was such a really good movie and so smart.
Really good acting too.
Yeah. I think everyone was really good in that movie.
Yeah.
I remember when I saw this on Netflix and I was like, dude, this is a nice find.
Yeah.
It was a real nice find.
Yeah.
But that's my number one, The Invitation. I haven't seen it since then, so I can't really go into as much depth as I'd like to. I didn't have time to go see it, but I feel like I'm going to watch it tonight, though.
You should. And you should watch The Wicker Man right after.
That'd be a good double, actually. That'd probably be actually a good double.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my number one, The Invitation, 2015.
All right, my number one. It's pretty obvious. I think you know where I'm going with this one. This is one of my favorite films. Tying into Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Rosemary's Baby, 1968, directed by the Roman Polanski, who was married to Shannon Tate. So, have you seen this film?
Not all the way through.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, it's not because I was bored. It's that every time I try to watch it,
yeah,
I always have someone coming in and interrupting me.
Oh my God. Okay, so
without fucking fail, it's like I'm trying to watch a fucking movie here, dude. Like, what the fuck?
And it's not one that you should be interrupted while watching. Because it's a very tense
I'm into
movie.
it. Like, I'm into it. But then, like, you know, someone comes in and tries to interrupt me, or, like, they plop down and, like, start looking at their fucking phone and putting YouTube on, like, and it pisses me off. It's like, I'm trying to watch a fucking movie.
You gotta watch it by yourself. Whenever you get, like, a moment to yourself, watch it. Like, I remember first seeing this when I was, like, 12, I think. Like, around 11 or 12. And I freaking loved it. I was just like, what the hell? Like, what is going on?
You want to know what's really funny? Is that Quentin Tarantino himself never seen this movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Till this day?
Not till this day. I don't know if to this day, but when Eli Roth did the Masters of Horror, or that horror thing, actually there's a podcast on there, on the Shudder.
Okay.
Look up the Quentin Tarantino episode, and he talks about that. Eli Roth asked him, "Have you ever seen Rosemary's Baby?" He's like, "I never seen that movie.
I
never saw that movie."
But he's like a film buff, like you would think.
And it's so amazing too, because like he drops like some gems in there that like he's never seen certain movies, and that's one that you would think that he's seen,
absolutely,
but he never saw.
Wow.
Like, holy shit. He screened it at the New Beverly.
Yeah,
and that's his theater.
He owns,
But he never actually stayed and watched it.
Oh my god.
And to me, I feel like vindicated kind of, because like, okay, good. I'm not the only one that's seen it. But he says like, you know, I feel like I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
But when I saw some of it, I'm like, no, I haven't seen this movie. I need to watch this movie.
It's absolutely a must. I mean, besides the story, which I'll get into, but cinematically and like filmmaking wise, it's just done so well. Like it puts you on the edge of your seat, and the acting is amazing. It's funny because John Cassavetes is in it, and
isn't he the husband?
He's the husband, but he's an independent filmmaker, so to have him act, it's also funny. So the first time I watched it, I didn't know that was John Cassavetes. I had no clue, like, whatsoever. And then as I got more into cinema and like filmmakers and all that, I'm like, whoa, I thought he was an actor. I didn't know he was a director, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, he plays the husband in it. So the film is about a woman and a man. They're a married couple, and they're trying to find an apartment to live in New York City. They find a great apartment, and it's very similar to the House of the Devil, because it's like this older couple, like being friendly and like luring them in. And the woman is very like creepy, but she's very nice to Rosemary, who's played by Mia Farrow. And so they accept the apartment, and they like try to get comfortable there. The husband wants to be a famous actor, so he's like working in theater, I think, at the time. And turns out older couple is a little more sinister, and they are in like this weird satanic cult. And Mia Farrow gets knocked up by the devil, thinking it's her husband. And this shot's great, by the way, because it's like this devil's literally on top of her doing her. And she's drugged because the older woman gives her a bunch of like drugs. She has no idea what's like happening. She thinks it's her husband that's doing this. She gets knocked up by the devil. Then she just starts getting like this paranoia. And what Polanski does so well about women in movies is the paranoia factor. Like, he just knocks it out of the park with this, and Repulsion as well, which is another great film. That paranoia, like, you don't trust anybody. You're in this huge city. Like, you can only trust yourself, really. So no one's believing her. Her doctor doesn't believe her. No one's on her side. Everyone's part of this like Satan cult. No one takes her seriously. So then she ends up having the baby, and it turns out her husband lured her in there because he wanted to be a famous actor. So he joins the cult to get like power to be famous. It's really fucked up. Deal with the devil. It's really fucked up that you do this to your wife, right? Like, that is the most fucked up thing. But yeah, it's based on the novel. So I haven't read the novel. I would love to, because it's the same writer that did the Stepford Wives, which is another amazing film. And that, I wonder if that could be kind of a cult film. Stepford Wives?
Be kind of considered
It kind of, yeah, I think so. I mean, that would be like another pick of mine too, would be Stepford Wives. Same vibe. But anyway, she gives birth to the devil, and then she like, it's a great ending scene where she goes up and like, you see his little like devil hand, like his little like devil claw baby hand, and she like, she's so terrified, but she like tries to comfort it because it's crying. And that's the end. But
you know what that reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of I don't know if you've seen this movie, but it's with Kim Basinger. It's called Grace.
No, I want to. Is that any good?
No, it's fucking terrible.
It's bad? Oh.
It's terrible, but it's actually pretty, I don't know. I haven't seen it since fucking 2008, so I couldn't say. But
because I keep seeing it on Amazon.
I remember watching it and thinking, this is not good. Like, Basinger deserved better than this.
And she's a good actress. Not in
that. Yeah, I guess. Is she?
9.5 Weeks. Batman.
I've never seen 9.5 Weeks.
What?
Yeah, I've never seen 9.5 Weeks.
Blasphemy.
I've seen another 9.5 Weeks.
Blasphemy. I mean, Mickey Rourke was... Well, that's another episode.
Sexploitation?
Yeah, we need to do a sexploitation until he fucked up his face, but he was so hot.
But I didn't see that, but I saw its sequel.
Okay.
Which is just really a softcore porn.
I have not That's
seen all that. It is. That's all it is.
I have not seen that, but yeah, you really, I mean, like I said, Rosemary's Baby, not just the story, but like the way it's shot, the acting, like everything about it is just like, you feel like you're delusional when you're watching it too. Like you feel like you're her. Like, is this all in my head kind of thing? And I don't know, it's very effective.
Yeah, I want to watch this movie, but I really need to find
the time and the space.
No, actually, the space really. Just
yeah,
I need to find
no one
space.
interrupting you. But I got some little trivia for this one. So William Castle, who's like the man, obviously, he later became convinced that this film was cursed.
Yeah.
Shortly after production, he suffered gallstones to such a severe extent that he required surgery. As he recovered from that, Rosemary's Baby's composer, I'm going to butcher the name, but I think it's Christoph Komeda, suffered an accidental fall that led to a coma, and he eventually died.
Fuck.
Then, leading back to everything, in the summer of 1969, actress Sharon Tate, Polanski's wife, was infamously murdered by Manson family. There's also a rumor that Sharon Tate was considered to play Rosemary, but Polanski thought that would be, like,
weird,
distasteful at the time. So she didn't end up getting the role. However, there's also another rumor, because she would hang around the set a lot, there's a rumor that she is in one of the party scenes in the background. I can't find it. Like, I have to rewatch it, but it's rumored that she's one of the people, because Rosemary's having like a...
They might have dressed her down or put her in disguise.
They could have, and I think she's just walking by, so she, like, you can't really see her. But wouldn't that have been fucking trippy if she played Rosemary? Like that.
I think that would have added a whole another layer.
Yeah.
To the
that
mythos.
Would have added something else.
That would have been just like, whoa.
Yeah. The Babies due June of 1966, otherwise known as 666. The scenes where Rosemary walks in front of traffic were spontaneous. This is like ultimate independent filmmaking. Roman Polanski reported to have told her that nobody will hit a pregnant woman. The scene was successfully shot with Farrah walking into real traffic and Polanski filming. And no one on set, production crew wanted to do that,
no.
So he did it himself. He was the one filming those shots.
Now I understand. A lot of the criticism behind this movie now.
Yeah.
And now I understand, because he put her through hell or some shit like that.
He did, and I know there's a lot of shit about Polanski, the rape and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying like
That's neither here nor there.
That's
just like the art. I'm just talking about like the movie.
So I know,
itself.
but a lot of people give a lot of people trouble that like Polanski, because I'm actually a big fan of his films. I'm not a fan of like the stuff that happened in his real life, but I think he is like such a great filmmaker. But he did put her through hell during this. A lot of directors back then did. Cassavetes.
And it's funny because like a lot of people feel like the movie is really problematic with the way it treats its female cast.
Yeah. But, she is the main person, and he used a lot of women as the main focus in his films. So there's that as well. There's always the sour with the sweet, so... But this is such a gem that you should watch this with House of the Devil, because it kind of coincides with each other, the theme. So I think that'd be like a good double feature to do.
Long double feature too.
Very long.
I think Rosemary's Baby is like 2 hours.
It's a pretty long
hours.
Film. Yeah. It's a long one. I've never seen the sequel. That is something I'm curious to watch.
There's a sequel to this?
There is a sequel. It came out, I think even Patty Duke is in it. I'm not sure. Which coincides with Valley of the Dolls. Everything like is intertwined, I feel. But there is a sequel. I think it was made for TV though. I don't think this was released in theaters.
Fucking TV.
Yeah, so that I can't really find it. I gotta do some more research into trying to find it, or online or something. But it does exist.
Look what happened to Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, Does it say what network it was on?
Let's see.
I feel like it'd be like an NBC kind of thing.
It does. Sound
Right?
like NBC.
And they also remade Rosemary's Baby into a show on a network a couple years ago, and that was not good.
What?
Not good. Did not have...
Oh, yeah, that was... it's actually an ABC movie.
Oh, it's ABC.
ABC
Okay.
aired October 29th, 1976.
Oh, 76. Okay.
Directed by Samuel Steen. Written by Anthony Wilson. Charles Bernstein did the music.
1976. Huh. But, yeah.
This already just looks bad.
It didn't get as, as good of a ratings.
It's not even based on the sequel, The Son of Rosemary.
Which is the book, right?
Which was published later, although there are some similarities. E.g., the child in both stories is called Andrew/Andy. The only actor to return from the first film is Ruth Gordon as Minnie Cassavet. Samuel Steen, an editor on the first movie, directed the sequel. Patty Duke, who plays Rosemary, was considered for the role in the 1968 film that went to Mary Farrell.
Yeah.
Really?
And Patty Duke was in Valley of the Dolls with Tate.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to waste my time watching that movie.
I do want to see it, though, just cause, I never have. But, yeah, you definitely got to watch it in its entirety and don't get interrupted. Because it's really good. Did you see Rosemary's Baby?
Long
Did you
time
like it?
ago. I did. I was a kid, though, when I saw it. What year was it again?
1968.
Yeah, I think I saw it.
68.
In probably the early 80s.
Early 80s.
Maybe the late 70s. Because I just remember when she looks at the baby in the eyes.
Yeah.
I
know, the eyes.
I totally remember that part.
And then a little hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, when I saw it and I was a kid, I remember thinking it was kind of boring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't remember being that...
I wonder how you would see it now being a mother.
Yeah. And I feel like this isn't a film for, like, a teen today, Like, it's not... It is slow. It's very slow-paced. But The Wicker Man is, too.
It's adult,
Yeah.
It's an adult horror.
Yeah. But I loved it. And I saw it when I was, like, 11 or 12. I was like, oh, my God. But,
excuse me.
Yeah, so my 3 were House of the Devil, Rosemary's Baby, and The Wicker Man.
Mine are Bad Dreams, House of the Devil, and The Invitation. And that's pretty much it, Also, here's a nice little tie-in to Hollywood again. Luke Perry played a cult leader in an episode of Criminal Minds. Played a Jim Jones character.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Is that available to watch anywhere?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Oh my God, I gotta watch it.
Season 5 or 6.
I gotta look this up.
It's the season premiere. I'll tell you what episode it is.
Oh my God, I gotta watch it.
Yeah, he was really good though. I remember
watching
that episode and thinking, "Holy shit, man, he's really menacing."
Oh my God,
like he's scary.
And it's weird because he never really played menacing roles,
No.
So that's interesting to watch.
I want, I was after watching Hollywood, it made me want to go back and watch that episode. I was like, I remember him being very creepy in that movie.
I gotta watch it.
So.
And to tie in Luke Perry, the new 90210 show premiered, which I have not seen, but I gotta figure out how to watch it somehow. But that also came out.
God. Pretty sure my mom DVR'd the shit out of that already.
Probably.
All right, well, that's our show on cult movies. Hope you guys are still here and you're not possessed by our voices. And that is all, folks. All right, I am your host, the Boogeyman, along with my co-host,
Ginger Snap.
Ginger Bitch. Stay culty, everybody.
Stay culty.
All right, bye.
Bye.